Hi, Andy Malone here. As you can probably tell, I'm not in my studio this week. I'm here in Redmond at Microsoft, and this time I'm going to take you on a personal tour of the Microsoft Mechanics Studio, and I've got a very special guest that I'm going to introduce. So stick around, this is a good one. So you may recognize where I am. This is Microsoft Mechanics. This is the studio where Microsoft Mechanics happens. And you'll recognize this man, Jeremy Chapman.
Hello, maybe you recognize me.
Host of Microsoft Mechanics.
Good to see you, Andy.
See you. Director of Microsoft 365. And you've kind of been involved in Microsoft Mechanics a lot, right? So,
yeah, we built it.
Yeah. And when did this start for you?
So we started back, I want to say around 2012, when it was the Office Garage, and then it became the Office Mechanics, and then the rest of the different product teams came in. I think Surface was first, then Azure, then Windows, and eventually we were Microsoft Mechanics because we're company-wide.
Awesome. Now, we've actually snuck in. It's Sunday today.
Yep.
So we're going to have a little behind-the-scenes look at the Mechanics Studio and where all the magic happens, right?
Right.
You're going to give us a tour?
I'll give us a quick tour.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
So this is where we do what's called a demo bench. Basically, it means that there's one person on camera, and typically we have a slate that's on the Surface Hub here, and we have our demo device that we're demoing from. But basically, this is where we would film a one-person style show for Microsoft Mechanics with all the different presenters that we work with.
Cool.
And then we have a two-person stage on the left. And this is where we'll do the interview style pieces for mechanics as well. So you'd have basically a guest there, and I'm usually here, or Matt McSpirit, or whoever's the host, but we would film two people here. And then back here is where our video village is and the stuff that we do in terms of the capture of audio visual. And you can see that, but this is that area. There's just one other little section in the back where we do like meetings where we have a green room in the back that I'll show you now. But yeah, typically on this side we'll do a 3-camera setup, and we do a 1-camera setup with 2 takes on the demo bench style single person mechanics.
And this is the back room, the green room?
This is our green room. So this is where we have our meeting table. I've got all my extra jackets and a desk that I will use occasionally, and another Surface Hub. So this is kind of where we can meet and do stuff. But usually I'll work here a lot when I've got a lot of calls and I've got to go from, say, filming into normal work.
Okay, so there you have it.
Yeah, so welcome.
Microsoft Mechanics, behind the scenes. So Jeremy, this week we're in town for the Microsoft MVP Summit.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who don't know what an MVP is, it's a most valuable professional. It's not a certification, it's an award, right?
Right.
Now, I've been an MVP for 19 years. How valuable are MVPs to Microsoft and vice versa, do you think?
Well, they are the most valuable professionals that we have working with us right now. So, I mean, it is valuable because basically anytime you're communicating on forums, you've got questions, like all the different ways that the community can reach out, for example, for advice or help, or they want to learn about new products and things. Like, there's a lot of different MVPs that are creating not just like YouTube videos, but are helping in forums with questions, like all the different surface areas where people have questions about how to use Microsoft products and really want to know new things they can do to get better, for example, at what they're doing with the products as well.
Absolutely. And also for Microsoft, I suppose, having this bank of knowledge and passionate people, you must get some great feedback on those products. And do you find that feedback makes the product better?
Oh, it always does. I would say from an MVP perspective, those are these are the people that are using like the bleeding edge, the kind of most up and coming sometimes, or preview, or like beta and early builds of things as well. So you're getting a lot of great feedback there. Think about all the different insider programs, et cetera, where a lot of the MVPs are super critical in those different communities. And then just being able to kind of be voice of customer effectively as a first conduit as to how the products are working, and if they need other capabilities or features added to it, for example. Like all of these things are critical paths back into our engineering teams for feedback.
Sure, okay. Now, as you've noticed, we're in the Mechanics Studio. How many shows do you do a week?
So we
on
tend
average?
to do, it depends on the time of the year and kind of how many announcements and things are going, but between 2 and 3 a week typically.
Okay.
It's a bit lighter, I'd say, like in the months of, say, December and August, but then every other month it's fairly predictable because there's always something going on, even if like because we're cross Microsoft.
Yeah.
So not just modern work, which is kind of the M365 and Windows side of the house, but also Azure and data and AI and Surface and all these different groups that we work with, Power Platform, et cetera. So all of them will there's always a cadence of events and announcements and things. When you add them all together, and the security and compliance identity team as well, there's always something happening. So we're always supporting like a new announcement for some capability or new product or new service or new feature.
Sure. Now, from a kind of YouTube perspective, you've got your own channel. You can punt it now. It's at
Deploy Jeremy.
Deploy Jeremy.
Right.
Now, you have a particular passion for hardware, right?
I do.
And you decided to go for your own kind of geeky thing. How long have you been going with that?
It kind of spawned kind of like your channel when you started going really serious with it during the pandemic. So we were doing that remote filming thing, which is like obviously not kind of in this studio with different cameras and audio equipment that we have here. But I started testing out these different webcams and like microphones and gadgets and stuff. And a lot of it became like more personal. Like you've got to be able to get a better image out of these different things and stream with them. So I've started like reviewing just on my own time and buying this equipment and stuff for my.
I can just picture your house as boxes of hardware.
Pretty much. That's behind where I sit and work every day. But basically, I've got like 100 different webcams, probably a dozen or 20 different microphone sets that I've purchased over the last 3 years or so. And then I'll also look at like streaming software and editing stuff and different tricks and tips for like how to do demos in Windows and capture them and what's the right screen resolution and the right tools and all of those types of things. And so like I've built my own kind of, I call it my baby channel, my little channel that has about 20,000 subs or something.
That's good.
But it's growing as my hobby project, I guess, on the side. But then the mechanics one's the main channel.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Now, this week, because of the whole MVP Summit, we're actually delivering a session for MVPs on how to kind of get started. And the nice thing about YouTube is it's the #1 streaming channel in the world, right? So you think that Netflix or Paramount or Disney are big, but YouTube is absolutely huge.
It's getting bigger.
And totally. And the great thing is you can produce your own content, right? Anybody can have their own content.
Even we can do it.
And you don't need this.
Right.
And the cool thing is you don't need all this. I mean, I'm filming right now on an iPhone and a tripod and a couple of Holyland microphones.
Right.
And hopefully it's sounding pretty good.
Right.
So you don't need to spend a huge amount of money. So having just delivered our session, what kind of advice would you give to folks out there who are thinking about going for YouTube?
Well, I mean, first, content is king. Like, provide value for your audience, whatever you're interested in. Like, you talked about being interested in golden retrievers or cat videos or whatever. If that's your thing, that's a good thing. Or travel videos, whatever. I happen to be into like gadgets and kind of geeky, nerdy stuff, and I'm also into cars, but I haven't filmed a lot of that lately. But all of those kind of things, you can get an audience. It's mainly about don't be repetitive, make sure your content's good. Like the other things, you don't need an amazing camera. We're using an iPhone here and like $100 mic set or something. So you don't have to come in with, like just with a lot of bags of money to buy like the best equipment and gear in the world. Usually like just something like the phone in your pocket and maybe a decent mic, decent audio will do it. And that's kind of what we're doing right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I would say definitely be patient. Because it's not going to happen right away. You're going to be patient. You're going to have to produce some content first.
They say it takes like the 100 videos to get to where you've got any kind of experience, but also any kind of following to where they can know what to expect. And then staying consistent. Yeah. A lot of these people that are really famous now, Mr. Beast, MKBHD, they were working for 10 years before they became like household names.
Exactly.
And so it wasn't an overnight thing. For some people you get that occasionally, but a lot of times if you do get overnight success, you don't know what to do with it, and then you can't like continue and stay consistent with that, because a lot of times you might go viral once, but then there's not a lot of easy ways to capitalize on that. Exactly. So it's these guys that are doing these longer marathons, working over 10 years that really eventually kind of build up their rapport and their audience and their community, and then that's how the really famous, most of the famous YouTubers that especially in the tech space, they've spent the time, put in the work.
Sure. Yeah, so consistency and, as you say, persistency. I think
Yeah.
you've got to be persistent and stay focused and find your voice, I think. You know,
Yeah.
find that niche, that exciting topic that you're really interested in, and I think it will be very successful for you.
That's key.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, listen, great advice, and thanks very much for sneaking us in to the mechanics studio.
Yes, it is Sunday after hours.
Sunday after hours. Don't tell anyone.
Yep.
We won't tell Satya. Okay. And thanks so much.
All
I
right.
really appreciate it.
Thank you, Andy.
And thanks for joining me.
No worries.
Great. So there you have it, Microsoft Mechanics. Thanks so much to Jeremy. I really do appreciate that. And I hope that it gave you a little insight into things that go on in that studio. Okay, that's it for this time. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Take care. So just for those of you who don't know it, what is an MVP anyway?
Yeah, so it's a Microsoft valued professional. Sorry, I can't speak, it turns out.
Let's start again.
Microsoft
the
valued professional. Right?
Most valuable
I
professional.
thought it was Microsoft.
Most valuable professional. That's where
Most
it is.
valuable, not Microsoft?
No. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
Microsoft most valuable
I see.
professional.
Then I got it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Most valuable professional.
Most valuable.
All right. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Blooper reel.
Yeah, blooper. That will go in as a blooper reel.